known as a performance expert and motivational speaker. What job title do you put when you're going through customs?
I actually don't agree with the title motivational speaker. I don't think it's my job to motivate people. A bit like it's not Steve Hanson's job to motivate the All Blacks, is it? Because if he's got an All Black that's not motivated, he's going to kick him out. So my job isn't to motivate, my job is to inspire. So inspirational speaker I think is a better term.
Yeah.
But what I'm really trying to do is to help people harness the power they have inside themselves.
So where does inspiration come from?
I think it comes, we can be inspired externally, but we've got to do something about it. Just being inspired doesn't fix anything for anybody. We've got to take that inspiration and run with it.
And how does a person find motivation to then take their inspiration and put it into action?
I personally believe a lot of that has to do with having really strong goals. If you know where you're going, it's a hell of a lot easier to get your own motivation levels high. I think a lot of people are scared of goals or perhaps reluctant to set them. But once they have those goals, once they have something to drive them, then I think motivation is relatively easy.
So you've had some pretty lofty goals yourself.
Yes, a few. Some a bit scary.
Yeah.
I did a couple of years ago, for example, I set a goal of swimming Cook Strait, which I think was, looking back on it, was a pretty stupid goal.
Wow. So Cook Strait, just for the benefit of everyone, that's the little bit, so on the map, if you look at the map, it's the little bit between North Island and South Island.
Not that little.
How far is it?
23 kilometres.
23 kilometres to swim?
Yeah, yeah. It's not particularly the distance. It is one of the most difficult swims in the world, but it's not the distance, it's the fact that it's completely unpredictable, infested by sharks and ridiculously cold. And ocean swimming's about not wearing a wetsuit. It's about actually swimming as nature intended, but with a pair of togs.
I got an image there.
No, you don't want to go there. Don't go there.
So you're swimming literally in your little pair of
Speedos and goggles. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And with any support, or how does it?
Yeah, you have a boat. Well, it's one of the most dangerous pieces of water in the world. So there were in fact 3 boats.
Yeah.
And the Westpac helicopter is informed as well. It's a scary place. And unfortunately I didn't make it. It's very much a lottery. It depends a lot on the weather and on the temperature of the water.
Yeah.
And with it being so close to Antarctic water, you often get very, very cold water there. So I lasted 6 hours but didn't quite make it. So,
wow. And so what happened, you know, you get out to the water, you go, damn, I didn't make my goal. What happens then?
It wasn't particularly major for me for the next 6 months, but then after that 6 months, with another couple of stresses that came into my life, I did suffer a little bit after that.
Yeah.
I went through a period of depression.
Yeah.
I don't think due solely to the failure to swim Cook Strait, because I don't see failure as a negative. I actually see it as a positive, quite genuinely. I learnt a lot by that year's experience. But the stress of that and the stress of 3 or 4 other things that were occurring at the same time, the death of my mother and other bits and pieces, actually seriously affected me, and I suffered a bit with depression. So, but it's extremely common depression, not for Cook Strait swimmers, but common generally, and there's a huge number of people that do suffer, and when the black dog hits you, it really hits you.
How did you cope with it? What sort of strategies did you have?
I didn't even know I was suffering. My wife took me to the doctor and said, ask him those questions. And the doctor asked me the questions, and I had no idea. I just thought I was majorly stressed.
Yeah.
But in essence, he told me that what the body's doing, what the brain is doing, is it's forgotten how to make serotonin, which is the thing that makes you happy. And so you need to reboot that. So I changed my life plan. I changed what I was doing. I looked carefully at my goals. I took all the stress out of my life as much as I could. And re-looked at where I was going and what I was doing, and over a period of time I was able to solve the problems and move forward.
So many people would not take on a goal that seemed big for the exact reason that they could fail.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
I think failure is part of life. I think it's a really important thing to do. One of the most important things that I teach my children is that you have to run towards failure. If you have fears or you have things that are holding you back, the only way you feel good about yourself is if you do something about those things.
Yeah.
So the idea of running towards failure or towards fear is a really important thing. The more you fail, the more you succeed. I mean, if you're we've got some musicians going to be playing today. Those guys don't just wake up one morning, pick up a guitar and say, oh, I think I'll be a rock star. Yeah. You have to practice a lot, and when you first practice, you're useless. But what happens is the more you fail, the more you get it wrong, the more you learn, the better you get. Yeah. So anybody that's not going to approach life thinking they'll run away from failure, well, they're never going to go anywhere. They're not going to try anything. They're not going to make any attempts. Failure is really important, and anybody that hasn't failed basically hasn't lived.
Yeah. It's a bit like learning to walk. You know, when you're a toddler, if you didn't give it a go and fall over a million times, you'd never walk.
If your mum and dad said, that's it, you've had your chance, now get in the crib, you're not getting out,
yeah,
life wouldn't be much fun for you, would it? You had one go and you didn't make it, sorry.
Yeah, we don't have a walker here, no, in the family.
Yeah, this one's not a natural. Love it.
So what's the next challenge for you?
Physically, I'm actually doing 1 million meters this year, swimming 1 million meters this year, which is. You
never give up, do you?
No, I really enjoy the level of fitness that sort of gives me. So that's a big challenge, trying to get over the physical side of that. In my business life, actually, things have changed dramatically in business recently. I've taken on a new approach, or added a new approach to my speaking, which is helping people design and create a pitch or a presentation, which I don't know if you know, but something like Wikipedia says 75% of us have a massive fear, serious fear of public speaking. Yeah. So I'm helping a lot of people do that at the moment, people to present or to pitch. The concept of speaking applies if you're actually selling an idea to somebody, whether it's an audience of 1 or 1,000, doesn't make any difference. You've still got to present your ideas in the right way and the right structure and the right format so that people buy into them. So yeah. That's proving to be extremely popular at the moment.
And people have to sell no matter what they do for a job, don't they?
Listen, you're married, right? So am I. Not to each other, guys, but so you did a great sales job, and so did I. Every communication is a sale.
Actually, I think he did a great sales job.
Well, maybe that's true in your case, but in my case, I had to do the sales job, as you can see. So every transaction, every communication with somebody, one person is selling an idea or a concept or a product or a service to the other person. And so I believe we all sell. Lots of people think they don't sell, but I think everybody does.
Yeah, selling can be seen as a bit of a dirty word, can't it?
It can, it really can. And yet I think we all do it all the time. And I think it's really important that we understand that there's a structure to it. There's a way that makes it easier.
Yeah.
Not only from our point of view about delivering the sale, but from the buyer's point of view as well. Yeah. So they don't feel stressed, they don't feel pushed, they don't feel as though they have to make a decision.
Yeah, and even if you're just trying to get your kids to go to bed, you're selling them on an idea.
It's a sales job, absolutely it is. I've noticed with my kids, talking about kids, I've noticed with my kids, if they want something, the conversation is very different than if they don't want something. If they want something, it usually starts with, Daddy, I love you. Because they know they get my attention, they know I like them at that point, so they can now sell something to me. I don't think they've ever been on a sales training course, but they understand the concept, and I think we all do. I think everybody does.
Yeah. Well, John, we love you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries. Great to be here.